And after our revitalizing ad break, it's time to focus on the evolution of the advertising market based on Group M forecast data. I want you to take a look right now at this pie chart that we're showing you. And we can see here that we've gone from a mostly 3-color pie chart to a 12-color pie chart. More actors, a lot more complexity here. Jean-Baptiste, can you translate what we're actually looking at here?
Yeah. When you look at these pie charts, there's obviously two dynamics affecting the advertising markets in the last 30 years. The first one is growth. You know, the second pie chart is much bigger because the advertising spend was multiplied by 4 between 1999 and 2018. So across all channels, but also for video advertising, that doubled in the same time period. The second trend is fragmentation. You know, advertising channel that did not exist back in 1999 or were still very minority during the 2010s, now account for a very large part of the advertising part. It can be extension of existing media, online video, digital audio, digital out of home or online press, or it can be completely new channels such as search or retail media, for example.
Okay, so that now that we understand the trend and the pie chart, of course, what does this actually mean for advertisers? Let's find out straight away with Josef Hallmann, VP Retail Marketing and Branding, AdAlliance Group, and Daniel Bischoff, CMOO, RTL AdAlliance. Daniel, it's over to you.
Thanks so much, Louise, and welcome, Josef. Great to have you here. We have lots of stuff to discuss, but before we do that, we want to have a look at one of your brand's commercials.
Autohero ist dein Online-Shop für Gebrauchtwagen. Spitzenleistungen sind unser Antrieb. Entdecke Autos so detailliert wie nie und kauf dein Traumauto bei Autohero. Online, bequemer, besser. Mach deinen Autokauf zu deinem Gewinn. Finde jetzt dein Auto bei Autohero.
As I said, it's really great to have you here, Josef, because we have a big topic to discuss. What is the role of total video for advertisers like yourself? There might be one or two people that didn't get actually what Auto One is and does through this nice commercial. So maybe you can explain in a nutshell, what is it that you do?
First, thanks a lot for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and talking to you today about total video. So Auto One is our publicly listed holding company in which we are operating 2 consumer businesses and 1 B2B business. And essentially we are buying and selling used cars. And in the buying space, we have our German brand Wir kaufen dein Auto.de and European sister brands. And we are selling used cars through the Autohero brand completely online to consumers. And we are also selling used cars to merchants, to our dealer partners, through the AutoOne.com brand, which is our B2B brand.
Before we dive into what video means for Auto One Group and the different brands you explained, maybe we take a little bit of a wider lens, of a wider look at it, and focus on your marketing and media strategy and your consumers that you want to reach. Can you give us an idea of this business that you described? What are the consumers that you want to reach and how do you reach them?
It's very different for the 2 different consumer brands. Maybe starting on the Wir kaufen dein Auto.de universe, we have a very broad target audience because we really offer the easiest and fastest way to sell a used car without any obstacles. And I mean, you know that also from your personal life. Everyone has a car, right? Old, young, men, women.
Especially if you have kids, huh?
Exactly, and you have all these different kind of use cases, and we really made our product fit all these different kinds of audiences, which also makes video marketing and especially TV and online video a really important marketing channel for us to address these broad audiences. And then if we look at Autohero, we are revolutionizing the way how you can buy a used car through doing that completely online. So you don't need to negotiate, you get the car delivered, like all the benefits of e-commerce. And certainly that product has an audience that is a bit more niche than what we discussed before. But also here, video marketing comes in great because you can target very well. And it also depends on where you stand with your brand, right? when we built the Autohero brand, which was, by the way, the fastest growing brand in 2021, we relied also on TV and video to create that awareness, to create that buzz in the market. And now we're activating this strong brand that we built, but using, again, video marketing. So it's a good tool for different challenges in marketing.
So you already made the segue into the next segment that I wanted to talk to you about. So now we know who are you trying to reach for your different brands. And what role is video playing in there? I mean, we saw with Jean-Baptiste earlier, we have over 6 hours of total video viewing time, a quarter of our day. What role does video, linear in particular, play for your strategies when you launch your brands and when you do your marketing?
So video fulfills different purposes in our marketing mix. On the one hand, we have always brought revolutionary solutions to the market that haven't been there before. So we really had a need also to explain to the consumer, what are we actually doing? What is the benefit for you as a consumer? So we can explain very well, but we can also emotionalize very well, for example, which is important for the Autohero brand, for example, because you're spending 10, 15, 20,000 euros on a used car.
That's why you do sports marketing as well, right? We saw in the commercial you have partnerships going on here, right?
Exactly. We have several partnerships ongoing in different markets, which really help us to get that visibility for the brand, but to also add this emotional component into the process which you actually experience as a customer when you buy a car, especially on Autohero when you get it delivered with our nice glass
with
truck.
the glass truck, yes. So linear, I think, is the perfect medium to convey this emotional side and to, as we saw also earlier, have this reach power. Now, digital is all over the place. It's a fixed point in our media mixes today. How do you approach digital at AdAlliance?
So for digital, it's actually a bit special for us because we are born as a digital company, basically. We were founded 2012, and our first steps in marketing up until 2016 have all been in digital, in traditional performance marketing, in online display, in search, in all these kind of disciplines. And then we said, okay, how can we bring this business to the next level? How can we really make it big? And that's where video marketing, especially TV in the first instance, came in. And we scaled that. And with all of that knowledge that we acquired at that time, we already knew when we started Autohero, it will be a combined approach of not waiting a long time and just do performance marketing, but to start everything at the same time to really have that strong market entry.
So you're balancing out both sides of the scale. I mean, with digital coming to the scenes decades ago, the terms of performance, you mentioned it, targeting, on the one hand came into play. On the other hand, there seems to be a divide between those two terms and mass media and creativity. Do you see that there's a divide in your strategies, or is it something that goes hand in hand?
From my perspective and at our practice at Auto1, it has to go together because you are actually addressing two different segments of the market. Your performance marketing brings you all the consumers who are ready to transact today. Your brand marketing brings you the customers who might not even know that they need your solution tomorrow or the week after. And that's why we see both in a very, very strong synergy, and we actually operate also both out of one marketing team completely in-house.
And how do you cope with that topic of creativity? Because I think we saw great ads, we saw your ad, we saw that video is really also about creativity, right? So how do you approach creativity and how do you measure it compared to the, let's say, performance and targeting world where you grew up in?
So the creative is actually your amplifier of your media strategy. Because you can have the best media strategy, but if your creative is not convincing consumers to actually become a customer of your brand, it's not a business, right?
Yes.
So what we do in terms of creative is we have an in-house unit where we really take all our data insights and transform them into a creative through our complete in-house process. And we test these creatives multiple different ways. In TV, for example, we can do A/B testing thanks to data solutions that help us to understand which ad is creating which uplifts. but we also use traditional panel testing to really understand what is the perception of a certain ad or a certain pitch that we're doing in an ad among our consumers.
I remember a lifetime ago when I used to work at a media agency, and we had the topic of marketing media mix modeling that we just heard from Aurélie and Cyril, that the creative actually was the biggest factor in the impact of the advertising. So it's very interesting to hear how you approached this topic. Now, I think when you launch your campaigns and when you invest into media, at the end of the day, it's what do you get out of it, right? And how do you measure it? And I think there's one term that we have to talk about that everybody is talking about in our industry, and I'd like to get your take on it, which is attention and the attention metric. Is that something that you use in all of your brands, in some of the brands, and how do you use it?
You're touching on a very, very important point, because that's all advertisers' challenge, right? You have an ad block that you want to stand out. You maybe have a pre-roll ad that you want to stand out with, and you really want to engage that audience. And we just lately identified a new strategy for our Wir kaufen dein Auto.de brand to really create that effect of standing out. And this is through working together with Ralf Schumacher as a brand ambassador, because he is present in our ads and he really has this fame and this status that adds on top to our creative, where we are basically pitching our product and why it is relevant for consumers. And both together is a compelling strategy that we also see working out in performance really strongly.
Yeah, and I think attention has become somehow a layer that brands put on top in order to qualify media. Right. I want to go a little bit of a step back. You explained to us AdAlliance as a global umbrella for your different brands. You have a global umbrella, but you have local brands, right? So how does that interplay, those two levels of acting global but also executing local?
So car selling is a local topic, and car buying until Autohero and Auto1.com was also just a local topic. And we completely transformed that. And when looking into our brand architecture, it's fundamental to understand that when we launched our buying business, our Wir kaufen ein Auto.de and sister brand business, no such thing was existing on a national level. So we needed to open the market first. And that's why we deliberately decided to call our brand like the service we are offering.
Okay.
And consequently, that was a local brand in each of the markets, which also helped us to establish that trust and that relevance also for local consumers.
Now, if you have this local and global approach, what do you expect from a company like ours, a media company, like a media partner for you?
These kind of partnerships are really important for us, because as much as we are a pan-European company, we are also a company with a headquarter in Berlin. And yes, we have team members from all different markets and so on, but having a partner who's really with his feet in the market and really knowing the trends, knowing the interesting things that comes up, is really important for us, because that enables us to act faster, to act more precise, and in the end, drive better ROI.
Yeah. So a little bit of both. You need somebody that drives simplicity globally, but also has the expertise then locally. Now, we're coming to the end, unfortunately, of our little discussion here, fireside chat. I want to use the last couple of minutes to pinch you a bit about the future, because the Total Video Key Facts is also about what's going to happen. In this year's edition, we outlined 5 big trends that we see will shape the future. CTV, cross-media measurement, we heard a lot about, AI, gaming, cookie-less targeting. Where do you bet your money on? Which will have the greatest impact on your marketing and media strategies?
That's a very good question, and I'm really happy to answer this, because it is a challenge that hunts us down every day. And the commonality of all the trends you mentioned is they create a fragmented media landscape, and that makes it hard for marketers to actually decide, where do I invest my money? And that makes it not only hard to decide allocation, it is also harder than for consumers to actually memorize your brand, to recognize your brand. So what I definitely foresee as an important topic is, again, creative and making it possible that you link your creative, your communication to consumers across different types of media. And we have actually gone already the step with our brand ambassador, who is present in all sorts of assets that we're putting out to the market, as well as our website, to create that consistency no matter where a consumer sees our brand.
To connect everything. Last question, very short. 2024, how does it look like for AdAlliance?
We successfully passed our zero line with adjusted EBITDA, so we are an adjusted EBITDA profitable company in Q3. And we have also announced in our earnings call that growth is on our roadmap for next year, and that is what we want to deliver to make even more car sellers and car buyers happy in Europe.
Great to have you here, Josef. Hope to see more commercials on our channels from your brands. And back to you, Jean-Baptiste and Louise.